In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King, concerned members of the international community and organizations, concerned members of the African institutions and organizations, fellow citizens, compatriots. As manifestations of the National Congress Party regime, misadministration and impotence, rampant corruption, deteriorated economy that reached its peak when fuel and bread disappeared from the market. Compatriots, the Sudanese had only one course of action: took to the streets to express peacefully their dissatisfaction. The regime responded with arrogance and brutality. A testimony of that it is death toll of 70 innocent lives. The regime brutality aggravated the situation and the protests developed into a revolution. Compatriots now has completed its second month with determination and tenacity. The demonstrations were peaceful expressions of rights. The regime proved it has no solution to the deteriorating economic situation, only hollow promises coupled with its excessive force. We have seen in the short documentary films or videos how the security elements have been shooting live ammunition on the young men and women, peaceful protesters in Khartoum and other areas, causing more than 70 deaths and hundreds severe injuries and more than 2,000 arrests. Compatriots, the unusual is the silence of the world. The world has to act, protect the Sudanese people, and the perpetrators should account for their deeds. Compatriots, days ago we watched in the live shows Ali Osman Taha, former vice president of the Sudan, threatening to use what he calls Islamist militias to attack protesters. That practically operational on the 17th January. Mr. Zedin, former speaker of the parliament, went further. Their statements are manifestations of the regime smelling its coffin and have instigated and assured the security organs to apply excessive force. The regime is committing these atrocities before the eyes of the international community. The calls of the Troika, Canada, the European Union have not changed the situation. Compatriots, we call upon the UN Security Council to be more bold, to hold an urgent meeting to discuss the situation in Sudan. Also, we call on the African Union Peace and Security Council to act on the issues of protests in Sudan. The violence will aggravate the situation in the country if this regime is left loose. Compatriots, categorically people of Sudan have a right to express their rights freely, including the right to select their government and other liberal rights. Indeed, what is happening is a total revolution that will travel the highways to its logical conclusion: regime change and a new democratic system in place, which is the eminent of the eminent. Fellow citizens, there shall be no solution to the various ills of Sudan in presence of a National Congress Party regime. The Islamist model in the Sudan and elsewhere failed to deliver, and it cannot deliver. The Sudanese have to peacefully seek government that they deserve, that respect diversity and rule of law, provide basic freedoms and services, health and education to the people, not lethal instrument that takes lives of the fellow Sudanese. Alota continua. Malik, Agar, chairperson, Sudan People Liberation Movement.